Yep, you read that right, we finally got the much-awaited PlayStation 5 gameplay of Black Myth Wukong, but not in the place you thought it would be. So it's looking like the new trailer was shadow dropped a few hours ago by the official PlayStation China account, and to be honest, it looks really good, at least better than expected, especially with concerns about console performance. So we're going to check out the new gameplay, we have lots of other game mechanics explained as well, and a day one photo mode pretty much confirmed, so let's jump right in. Also, you still have time to enter our Black Myth Wukong Deluxe Edition giveaway. I'm giving away 2 copies of the game available on all platforms. You just have to be a subscriber of the channel, leave a like on the video, and comment down below. Now, I can't really find a translation of the boss name since obviously the gameplay over here featured is in Chinese, so expecting a full-on English version to be maybe posted within the next few hours. But we do have this official Black Myth Wukong, I think, Weibo account posting that I translated to the latest PS5 gameplay video of Re-Journey to the West. I'm guessing that means Black Myth Wukong. Yu summary has been released. Please visit the official PlayStation China channel for details, and that channel leads you to a couple of new gameplay shots. The first one shows what appears to be some kind of boss summoning ritual. We can see all of that energy concentrated in one spot, which I'm going to assume is the boss's body. And then we can see, of course, the fight over here, which starts in the second trailer. Now we can finally see it in action. It does appear to use a lot of blood-related abilities, so excuse me if I had to change the color from red to green. This is something that otherwise would nuke the video because YouTube for some reason doesn't like blood in video games. But besides that, I mean, the combat looks really awesome. This is a boss that appears to be easy to hit at the feet level, and you can even make it stumble, so this might open up a few windows of opportunity to deal some nice damage over there. At some point we can even see a 3 focus point charged up heavy attack happening, which absolutely demolishes the HP. So this makes me think that this is a higher level character or one that has some better gear, given the fact that it deals so good damage. Plus we can also see it has a number of abilities already unlocked, so it's pretty far into the game. Also, I'm seeing a new icon that we haven't seen before, which can be activated with the right trigger plus the left analog stick, and it is in between the summon and the stance meter. So I do wonder what that is going to do in the full game. Now, I am still hopeful for the console performance because we do have reviews of the game on the Steam Deck, a much less powerful system, which seems to still be capable of running the game at 40-50 FPS depending on the presets you choose. Obviously not the max settings, but we have this review from Touch Arcade which talks a bit more about it. So I honestly didn't expect Black Myth Wukong to even be remotely playable on the Steam Deck, but it is more than that. So when using the recommended preset with no change, I replayed the opening hours and saw everywhere from the mid-20s to high 40s after disabling frame generation. Frame generation and FSR are enabled using the recommended settings with the scaling resolution set to 90, which is actually really good because we know that will avoid issues with the blurry images and textures. I also found Black Myth Wukong doesn't look too bad playing on low with these, but I enabled TSR since I've had better visuals with TSR than FSR. And if you turn everything to low, super resolution to 45, TSR and so on, you can see 40 to 50 FPS early on. Of course, you can check out the Touch Arcade review if you want to see more of those details and all of the test results. But in the meantime, the same reviewer also confirms that the game ships with a good photo mode, and this seems to include a lot of the typical settings you have in photo modes, so FOV slider, roll, depth of field, brightness, contrast, all of these. We can see there are multiple categories from the preview screenshot that the reviewer has posted. So this gets me really excited because I love photo mode. It helps a ton with like screen archery and all of that. So if you see something absolutely beautiful in this game, you're probably going to want to pull off a screenshot every now and then. At least that's me. I love pulling that off. We also have some extra information about the size of the game, and this one comes from a Chinese reviewer website which got in a bit more in-depth with the game, actually playing full on 70 hours. From just reading it, it seems that the game is actually much bigger than we thought, and even this reviewer who played for about 70 hours still had some stuff left to explore. So according to the review, he needed about 35 hours just to pass the main story with only necessary exploration. So that excludes like side content, which he says that there is 40% extra side content waiting to be explored by the player. And one thing that really gets me excited about the game is that just in the starting hours, like in the first chapter, he played for 4 hours. That's how long it actually took. However, the official version of Black Myth Wukong, yeah, it's the smallest level in the game world. And it actually starts way bigger in chapter 2, which is something that IGN has also mentioned when they complained about the lack of a mini-map. So the physical size of each level is at least twice of that of Black Mountain, which he says is the first chapter. In addition to the miscellaneous soldiers, bosses, and demon kings, there are also enlightenment points, treasure chests for obtaining resources, various collectibles, and important plot props scattered everywhere, which I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it may mean characters. I think there's a mistranslation over here. But these contents make Black Myth Wukong a game of super large volume. Just exploring the map carefully and completing the main content without deliberately touching the hidden branches and bosses in the map, one level may take 6 to 8 hours. It takes about 40 hours to simply clear the main line, and it is even more difficult to estimate the complete collection. Besides this, it might also be a case of having super secret maps that you need special conditions to be met to even see in the first place. So according to the same reviewer, there may even be hidden maps in each chapter that are related to the direction of the main plot. These hidden maps may involve time travel or to other worlds, and in short, they cannot be discovered by, quote, licking the map, unquote. So I believe, yeah, that means scouring the entire map might still not yield you with secret paths, which might actually require you to progress in the story in a certain way. So all of these, as the time of this post, we still haven't found the trigger conditions for some hidden bosses and endings, and we're not sure how much game science has hidden in the mountains. This is, by the way, just the first chapter. When everyone plays the official version, if you can't find a monster boss or NPC in the trailer after searching the entire game, don't be surprised, this is normal, because we may not have found it either, but they really exist in the game. So this is something that I really like about developers going a few steps above, because it's not just following a linear sort of story and going from point A to point B. When they introduce stuff like this, stuff that is super secret and hard to find, and one that you can only find when meeting a certain condition, this is something that I absolutely geek out for. Souls-like games always do this, so I know I constantly make that comparison, but it's probably the best other example that I give. So if they follow a similar route with that and give us some extra content that is super secret but super rewarding when you get it, that's actually going to be amazing. Going over some of the other details I've spotted in reviews, in the Games Radar review, we can see one of these collectible items called a Celestial Medicine. So this seems to be collected from one of these containers over here sitting on a table, if I'm looking correctly. And according to the reviewers, many have mentioned that this is some kind of permanent increase. In this case, it was to max stamina, but some can also affect health or mana in a similar way. And a few outlets out there also mention how some of these are refundable, so probably something that we can then allocate to different stats as we see fit. Maybe you want more stamina, more HP, and so on. So it sounds really interesting. We also have a couple of new abilities that I don't believe we've seen before. This is from the God is a Geek review. So in this case, we can see that the player is using what I believe to be the tower stance, and it uses a different set of heavy attack, which is this really cool sort of spin using the staff elongated from the ground, and it seems to be rather decent at single target damage as well. Now, this doesn't seem to do as much damage as the previous smash stance that we've seen most of the reviewers playing into, but I would assume that this could be a pretty interesting choice for maybe AoE and whatnot. Also, according to IGN, these types of heavy attacks can be actually casted much faster if you pull them off in the middle of a combo chain with the light attack, as long as you have at least one focus point. So this is something that we got from the IGN review. So this may be the version of the tower stance that we've seen. We can also do that on demand by, I believe, pressing the heavy attack, which instead just lets you stand on that staff and then unleash it whenever you want. That's what I'm gathering from this gameplay footage against a different boss enemy. On a similar note, it's also interesting to see that shield enemies have their own unique mechanic, because in this shot we can see that the bar, the brown bar at the top, coincides with breaking the shield of this enemy, which then just leaves it off only with its weapon. And it seems that there are quite a few of them, as we've seen other gameplay shots of the same enemy type, which can definitely be devastating looking at this, dealing damage with the shield but also getting protected at the same time. And we've seen a number of other smaller enemies featuring different styles of shields that you have to break in a similar way. So I'm kind of liking this sort of combat element synergy over here, the strategy that I have to apply so that combat doesn't always feel samey. Anyway, that's about it with the video for now. Thanks much for watching, and until next time.